In this one, we're actually going to look at something I don't normally show. I don't do a lot of videos about the equipment that I use to make these videos, and I'm guessing some of you are curious. I firmly believe that the videos that I make of builds are among the best build videos. I try to be as thorough as I can with them, and I feel like a lot of YouTubers really just do the whole, you know, a couple of key moments on the build set to some dorky, quirky music and call it a day. So I want to show you guys how I do mine, and I thought some of you might think it's interesting. So let's take a look. So this is a Sony a7 III. It's my secondary camera. I have a nicer one that I use for, like, when you see the, let's call it GPU porn type stuff. I use a higher end camera for that. This is my older model, and I realized this is actually a fairly new setup doing it in this way. As you've noticed, as I've started cranking out large quantities of builds, I decided to go this route. So what we have going on here is actually, I might even be able to show it. Let's see if it comes on. Is it gonna show the way I want? Let's see. Ooh, it is. Okay, so check this out. So you'll see it right there. Let's turn it up just a bit. I turned the light down so you guys would see that. So that is my 4K OLED, and I have the camera with a mini HDMI and power going into it. And unfortunately, it won't run, it won't charge or run off of the USB. It has a USB-C, but it won't charge or run while it is plugged in. But I'm finding that if I'm fast about it, I can usually get about an hour out of a battery. And so I find that, because it will charge, it's really stupid. It's the stupidest thing, but it will charge when it's turned off. So I leave it plugged in like that, and then the battery's good to go when I turn it on. I've got this custom mount, just like my ultra wide there. I keep having to make these custom mounts. It's actually remarkably difficult to find something like this. This is a mount I bought. So this, can you see? So this right here, from here to here, is purchased, and then this right here is from here down. Let's see. Can you see it? Okay, from here down is custom mount, and so that runs into my TV there. So that lets me verify with a monitor that big. It lets me verify my focus and a few other things. And then the other thing I use is, let me turn the brightness down so it doesn't get blinding, but okay. And then I have this big studio light here. Part of the reason I have the studio light is because, so with this, for those of you guys who know anything about camera gear, some of you may, some of you will, some of you won't. I run my lenses wide open at like f/18 or something like that. And what that does is that allows me to, so if you see, let's see if I can show this. So what you'll notice when you watch, I can't really show it. Yeah, I can't really show it quite well, but see that distance between the camera and the desk? If you guys watch, you'll notice that typically the videos are fully in focus, and that's because I am running wide open. What that means, though, is I need a ton of light, like a ton of light to make that happen. And so the studio light lets me put a ton of light on the desk, which is why you see a lot of glare. Focus back on me. That's why you see a lot of glare in the videos, because I'm just absolutely just inundating the area with light so that I can have the camera wide open. And what that does is that makes it so that it stays focused. So whether I'm like, if you see me and I'm like screwing something in on top of the case, or I'm building down in the case, it's in focus. And that is achieved by running it wide open. But it does mean I need a lot more light to do so. And then for anyone that's curious about lens specs, this is actually a very high-end lens. This is a Sony 12-24 f2.8 G Master. It's like a $3,000 lens. I didn't pay that much for it, but that's what they go for when you buy them. I originally bought it for totally different purposes. It was going to be my landscape photography lens, and then I ended up going a different direction for that. I ended up with a 14mm prime that's a little better suited to what I need. Not to mention some of the places I go, I didn't really want to carry around an overly expensive lens. But I was almost going to trade that thing, or not trade it, but I was going to sell it and then use the money to buy a long lens for doing like, I don't know, going to zoos, things like that, just fun stuff. But I realized it is the perfect, because check this out. See if I can get enough light on here to get anything. Okay, so let's say we do this. Let's put a GPU on the desk. You should be able to, let's see. Okay, you can kind of see it at this point. All right, let's do this. Can you see it now? You can kind of see it on the desk here in the camera. So this, I can either zoom all the way out or zoom all the way in. And this, I need a fairly wide, I wouldn't necessarily need this wide of a lens to make that happen, but it doesn't hurt. It definitely helps. So that is the gear that I use to make the build videos. And anyway, I hope you guys find that interesting, and thanks for watching.